So, given how complex and cruel the world is and how it's currently operating, which is hard to qualify or quantify, that would be a subjective interpretation, unfortunately. But like how it's operating right now, what I said before, and just how incompetent each of us are when we really look at the extent and complexity of our suffering collectively, even just one of us in our personal lives, just how hyper complicated the underlying fabric is. If one thing gets blown out, for me, I'm more aware of this, more painfully aware than most people ever have to be or ever get to not be. So I'm happy that they're not. Just how incapable a single person is of solving everything. I mean, look at a president. Let's say they were a perfect person and they weren't corrupt at all. How in the world are they going to act in a corrupt system? How are they going to change things permanently in a way that's long-lasting? If you completely eliminate a disease like polio or different tropical parasites, that's good. No one ever appreciates how good it was in the time to come, but the world has been qualitatively improved for a semi-permanent amount of the near/foreseeable future. And then, even though human lifespan is extending, the fact that we can solve that, which is an unbelievably complicated problem, but the logistics of solving it are not really working out. And think how many people wish all of these things would have happened, and how many things we wish we had now, and how many people, looking back, will not realize how good they have it, and just how terribly they're doing, and how they want to improve, but can't too. So that's also something else to really ponder. And I also have a video. This is more of so note to self. You should make a video detailing for the nerds who are into statistics exactly why everyone is so doomed and what you could do about it. Then you're going to want to make something for the general public to hopefully either not get or get offended at or by, so that way they have to comprehend just how screwed we all are. And it has to do with 85 IQ and 145 IQ, how I embody both of those things, and how just because you have one or the other doesn't mean actually anything. And just because you don't have one doesn't mean shit either. You're equally ultimately screwed. And that ties into the first one, which is like all the things that would be good, hypothetically, to have, or would help other people if you had them, doesn't even matter anyway. Because those people still get screwed over, and those people still can't help people. And there's not enough people who have all these things, and it wouldn't matter anyway. So that's kind of a doom or gloom view. And then, so you can be this thing that can't help anybody, but you can definitely purvey to people things. And you can do it all yourself, but it's not going to matter anyway. I can't move this finger independently. And then fifthly, just live your own life selfishly and completely to your own ends, and feel really good and be super happy and do cool stuff, because all of these things are true and it doesn't matter anyway. But the flip side of the fifth one is try to do it all anyway. So, I don't know, I guess fully embody those light and dark sides that wish better for others and need it themselves and want to permanently solve reality's issues with that ultimate solution. And then the part of you that just doesn't care and is like, I'm going to make the solution. It's going to be only for me and everybody else, because of how unhelpful they are and obstructive they are and how much like me they are, and fall on their own face. Like hoist by their own petard kind of thing. Have a Disney movie villain death. Because we all think we're the heroes of our own story, but we don't think very much. So why would we think that anyway? So I can get this idea out there and do a long-term investment and really be somebody. Because if you try to be somebody now, even if you are somebody, or you're someone who could be someone if they invested long-term, like if you have potential or you're great, if you try to go from zero to hero like this, people will call you manic, and you might act manic. And in order to do that, you might actually have to be manic, which is why I think creative people exist, and verbally fluent, trickery, quick-witted, silver-tongued, tricky people exist. It doesn't even mean they're thinking fast. and coherently at the same time, which is part of the issue. That or those things, and that's because I'm split down the middle, and you can only specialize into so much. So I've invested maximally into my generalizability, but because of that, I've lost some other things which would in theory be maximally generalizable, but I put all my skill points into being as general as I can, which made me less general because I didn't specify, and you can't specify into every direction, which is kind of my point with that. Most people have an IQ of like 0 to maybe 50 to 85 at any new thing that they do. And anybody can eventually reach an IQ of 145 in one particular domain. But then a person with a global, widespread IQ of 145 at everything can come in and beat them in the time it would take that person who isn't 145 but has a skill of 145. The time they would beat them as easily as that person would beat a beginner to whatever they're good at. It's all a relative. So it's like relativity, but a psychological version. And smarter people than me have already made something better than that. And nothing is original and nothing is creative, and it all comes out of the same source. So ultimately, even creative people aren't creative. And smart people aren't smart relative to reality. Because take the performance in a domain such as school and see how well that intelligent person solves everything. And even if they do mentally solve it, see how well they actually apply it in this world of hell and constraint in a veil of tears. I don't know, I guess I'm a nihilist. But not that I don't think life has meaning. I think it does, and it could. But I guess, what would you say, instead of, I'm not like an extinctionalist or an existentialist where I think like, oh, this is all really bad, and that's just the way it is, and we have to live with it. I'm like, no, we shouldn't have to. It's too much. It's too bad. And there is meaning, and I wish there was more. But because of how bad things all are, everything is invalidated. You could say I'm a defeatist, a gloomist, a doomist. I'm going to make my own new philosophy that'll have no followers, and that'll prove exactly how good it is at being its own philosophy. This is what happens when you take oppositional defiant and beat it out of somebody. So they are cooperative, naive. So you revert them from what they were to what they could have been to what they were again. And then they become more that way. And that's eventually how you get resentful people who do terrible things. But I'm not going to be like that. I'm better than that. And so that's what I have to tell myself. Whether I am tough or not, or whether I am good or not, or evil or not, or powerful and sharp. I resent, can't be, and don't want to be, and hate being, ignore me. Just as much as I hate existing, because I'm in a body that's in pain. So people who are in a body that's in pain, that's a prison, they kind of get that. But they're probably dead, because why would you want to keep living like that? I hope they're all resting easy. And that those who are equally pinned and restrained and basically being like violated at the highest level by reality itself, not even by another person. I mean, that would just even make it worse. But I hope that those people find their way out and they're able to screw over that which has screwed them over in the highest possible sense, in the greatest possible fashion, to the greatest possible degree. I just don't want to work hard. Every day is hard work, so like I don't have anything left, which means I'm living in daily life, metaphorically, paycheck to paycheck. So much so that if I had to really live paycheck to paycheck, like people who do, and I don't get any of what that's like, so I don't get to talk about it. It must be really hard. If it is hard. I couldn't even imagine, I'm sorry. I'm living day to day, mental and physical paycheck to paycheck so hard that I couldn't even do what you're doing, which means I'm both worse off and better off. Better off in that I don't have to do what you're having to do that hurts you, and worse off because I can't even do what you are able to do and have to do, but at least can do. So it's some bullshit. Reality is just some bullshit. There's an infinite amount of tasks that not even the hardest, smartest, obsessed, motivated, cooperative, tough, hard-driving, honest, good workers and people could ever get done. Even if you prioritize the things that generalize the most and help the most from that. Which is, I think, what gets me. It brings me into, like, it's not that it's meaningless. I'm not a nihilist in that sense, but that it's hopeless. So, like, a hopeless version of nihilism. That you can impose meaning, and there is underlying meaning, and that's real, but it doesn't matter anyway. And so, not only fuck it, but maybe fuck it over more and make it worse. But don't do that, actually, though. Like, if you have to do something out of resistance, revolutionary spite, do nothing. Or channel that energy into something meaningful somehow. But again, then it loops back around, and if you're on mushrooms, you get put in a thought loop by this. So, a negative one. It's just like a shadowy rain cloud of demon hell that rains fire instead of rain has enveloped itself around me, and I'm constantly there wherever it goes, and it's just, it'd be enough to make you go crazy, but I already did that and that didn't help, so I gave up on that too. Yeah, this is boring. I won't watch this, so I'm gonna disengage, but the most of it is front loaded to the front, which is something I'm trying to get better at doing, and I'm somewhat doing it. So I have goals, I have tasks. I just have to prioritize, crystallize, actualize, push forward, and generalize them. So we'll see how that goes. Hey, so because I'm in a hurry, and because I have a low tolerance for uncertainty, and there's a lot of uncertainty right now, I'm going to upload this onto every platform that I have before I fully flesh it out later, because unfortunately real life gets in the way and things end up getting harder than they should be. So I'm going to upload pictures of this to Facebook, I'm going to do it on Instagram, I'm going to do a live reel and a number of other things and put it on YouTube. I'm just throwing this out there because it's super freaking important. So here's my proposal and my explanation of my proposal, and I will go into this later. You can screenshot this if you think it's interesting, but I'll also be posting pictures and links. I kind of don't trust people, so I don't really want to like link all of my things together, but here's the beginning of this, and I'll even read this off later and sort of give reasoning for each of the things, but I'm trying to multitask right now, which is not very wise. And so there's basically how I'm feeling. I printed this up a while ago, but I'm in much more of a hurry because of the nature of what I know and what I've learned, and the ability to communicate that effectively, convincingly, quickly, and accurately, as well as what's the word I'm looking for here? Reputably, in a way that people will take you seriously, is very difficult. So right now I'm going to let you figure out for yourself. I'm putting out this preliminary version for the true deepest thinkers. They'll be able to get this. I don't want this to blow away with my ceiling fan going, but I will flesh this out. This is my entire reason for living, other than creative projects and just having a good life and having what's good. It's me, a nobody, the creator of the solution to everything. How's that for a paradox? Of course my mental health is sketchy right now, but that's what happens when you delve into these kinds of things too deeply. Or you just dip a toe into the shallow end of the pool of life itself. Eventually you get pulled down to this level, and that's where it's deep. And when it's deep, there's a lot of pressure on you. You're sinking, you're at the bottom, it's dark. There are things in the ocean that you don't even want to know about. And above us is space, which is the exact same way. We're sandwiched in between a perfect utopia and an absolute hellscape in every single direction. That is the nature of reality itself. If you don't believe me, that's okay, but maybe go read philosophers who have purported such things. If you watch certain YouTube channels, there are modern versions of this. There are people who have laid out their life's work over a 25 plus year span, and those people, of course, are way ahead of me. I've only lived that long. So, because of the uncertainty of whether I'll make it to 50 or 75 or beyond that, and whether the world will persist in any reasonable, predictable condition or state of being at all whatsoever. I'm just putting this out there to begin with, and I hope someone cares for me, because I think other people need this. And while I may not always be around, and I certainly hope I can be, to do it and to help further it, there's not a lot of chance. I'm going to work on a short film that hopefully I can eventually maybe sell to somebody, even for a low price. I don't care how much production value I have to put into it just to get it out and hit the maximum number of eyes. I want people to think about this, to realize what it would be like. And I have to write the story, I have to do the filming, I have to do the special effects, I have to do the script, all of it by myself, and maybe with some friends who are willing and open and available to collaborate. But first I need a plan. It'd be like an investment portfolio. It's not looking good. I'm not a worthwhile investment right now. Like, just technically speaking, like emotionally speaking is a different matter, but like, to keep it professional or academic, there's no reason. Not yet. The general public, me being among them, are a little bit short-sighted, a little bit more wanting to see interesting things all the time, consume, integrate, feel, and then produce. And some people are more logically driven, so imagine this is the base of the triangle, it's here, they're focused, they're narrowing, they're moving towards a goal. I'm not like that at all. I'm the exact opposite. But through the years, a lot of stuff has amassed to me and also kind of flown in one ear and out the other. So given how good of an idea I think this is, I don't know how it came to me. Well, I mean, I kind of do, but I wouldn't call it mine. That would be arrogant. And because it's such a good idea, I don't even want to call it mine. And maybe that's a personal problem, but and ideas are not set in concrete or set and concrete. I don't know. I don't always enunciate that well anymore. But let's get this out there. Let's evolve it. Let's develop it. Let's feel the valence of the meaning of it. Things have value and things have definitions. So in language, as someone whose English was their best subject, that wasn't even a proper sentence, but you know what I mean. There's syntax and then there's semantics. Syntax is the logical grammar and the rules by which things run on and operate. Semantics is the impact, the meaning, the intent behind words and the feelings that those elicit in the listener, feelings or thoughts, the delivery. So there's the objective, the grammatical syntax, the shape, that would be like scientific thinking, engineering, programming, facts and logic, absolutely destroyed by Ben Shapiro type of thing. And then there's subjective, which deals with more in the humanities side of things, the quality of life, the value or unvalue of certain things, what things truly mean, what's at the bottom of the mystery. It never ends, it keeps going. Syntax is also infinite, but semantics is more structurally, qualitatively, like a rabbit hole. And quantitatively, and as though running on a code like the Matrix, grammar is more along the lines of how do things work, how do we get things to work, how do we keep things working, how do we automate and run systems instead of empathizing and feeling like, so that's thinking. Empathizing would be maybe down here hypothetically. I just always have chest pain, but that's beside the point. My body is no longer an accurate or worthwhile or good map for the world. I'm completely cerebralized because of my chronic pain. I had to check out and go into just brain mode. Solely brain. But when you don't take care of your body, your brain actually starts to not work so well. So it's kind of a catch-22 and a go fish where fish is equal to yourself. Okay, so Here, all right, and I can interpret and translate this, given that language is my strong suit, and I'm the one who was channeling or it was a funnel for it, and I'm also the bottleneck. But this deals with bottlenecks. I just am impatient and don't feel like anyone would read something if I made like a 3-hour YouTube video essay or something along those lines. And therefore, I feel disencouraged to proceed with the effort that would be necessary to make something that may not even matter. But it's only watchable if it's carefully constructed and well made. It's not acceptable to the eyes, ears, mind, heart, otherwise. So it's a little tricky. It is a little tricky. I basically completely dropped out of school and the workforce because I don't want people telling me what to think. So I figured it out myself, and then I realized, oh, now I'm the person who knows things, but other people would be in my same position I used to be in, where it's like, why would this guy tell me what to think? And it's like some people are better than that at others, and while I may be able to be that to myself, doesn't mean anyone else is going to take me seriously. So that's a little tricky, as I'm sure you can understand. I feel like that is something that I can convey, and maybe people would get it, like why I'm doing it, or why I say or act this way, or why I've chosen the life path that I have. And as for work, I invested a tremendous amount of time, for which I now have not medication. I have no education. That's just a mental typo. I have no education to back it up, because I don't conform to external systems very well. I can, but it like kills me inside, so I don't. And then you got all of the invested time to come up with this single idea, and I have minimal money to show for it. I could have really honestly been a lot more efficient and done a better job, but in my defense, and anyone else who's in a similar position, I feel you guys. I was young. I was not 25. I didn't have a frontal lobe that was developed. Also, I had ADHD, so I was even more hypofrontalic, which means like just no reasonable, self-disciplined, top-down, disciplined, organized thinking. It was all just like spiraling off in a million different directions, which is sort of what I was saying earlier about the triangle coming up versus mine, where it's like a bunch of things condensing into a single point, but then when I get to the single point, it diversifies and sprays out everywhere like a water sprinkler. So that's a problem. Most people who are successful in academia are more like a drain. They're effectively collating and relaying, crystallizing information. I'm already crystallized. I just don't know how to fluidize. In a pragmatic sense. I just end up really long-winded, and I don't script anything out, because I feel like time is the ultimate currency, and I have leveraged that as much as possible. I'm way ahead of the curve now at 25 than I would have been had I not done all those things, but I also could have done them better, and hopefully I'll continue to do better going into the future, but I still don't know what to pick. The reason that I basically stopped in school was, you have to be something instead of anything you want, and I still can't get over that. It's just a personality tick, a disorder, if you will, because it'd only be a disorder because it's not functional in larger society. I'm too creative, and yet I'm not the type of creative person who can organize themselves enough to create one single product, because I don't know how to delay gratification. I could work on a huge bank and archive of content and stuff that I have, and go in and single it out and weed it out and extract and organize old things, but that's just as hard as like making new things on an ongoing, on the fly basis. Condense like water, like dew onto a leaf, effectively, successfully, meaningfully, whatever you have it, like tolerably. I'm getting sick of hearing myself talk, and this has been 12 minutes of you've heard me out, and I haven't edited this out. Thank you for listening, and but I'll probably try to filter this for each platform it goes on to. Thank you for your time. I wish you the best of luck if you choose to explore this idea. Contact me if you'd like to expand on it or further elaborate or collaborate. But I'm used to being alone in my endeavors, so if not, no worries. Don't hold it against you. No pressure. That sounds like the most pressured thing you could possibly say. But yeah, I got brain damage, yo. So sorry about that. Sorry. Until next time, have a good one.